Hey, I'm Michael, and this is Sound Selection. Pop music. We hear it on the radio, we hear it in the grocery store, we hear it everywhere. It just seems to appear, right? But someone has to make it. I mean, somewhere. And some people are really good at making it. People like Max Martin. For someone you've probably never even heard of, he's responsible for some of the biggest hits of the last 20 years. Artists like Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Ariana Grande, they all go to him to make their biggest pop songs. As a producer, he's made 22 Billboard #1 hits, which is absolutely ridiculous and falls just behind George Martin of the Beatles for being the record. I think it's safe to say that he's mastered what makes a pop song work. So let's look at what exactly is the Max Martin sound. We'll look at two different songs by two different artists, Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande. Let's go back to a simpler time, when Taylor Swift was a country singer-songwriter that we could all relate to. She had her persona down, but she wanted to branch into a poppier sound on her new album, Red. So she brought in hitmaker Max Martin to work with her on a couple of songs on the album. You know, songs you might be familiar with, like 22, I Knew You Were Trouble, and We Are Never, Ever Getting Back Together. Max came in, he did his thing, and he turned these songs into mega hits. So let's look at what it is that Max Martin did with these songs. Specifically, We Are Never, Ever Getting Back Together.
Then you come around again and say, baby, I miss you and I swear I'm gonna change. Trust me, remember how that lasted for a day? I say, I hate you, we break up, you call me, I love you. We called it off again last night, but this time, I'm telling you, we are never, ever, ever getting back together.
So the song starts and we can already feel that something is different. It doesn't have the same country vibe as some of the other songs. Let's compare this to songs on the album that Max didn't produce. Like one of the singles, Red, starts with a banjo. Man, that really has a country vibe. And Everything Has Changed has a guitar, but it doesn't have the same high quality feeling. The guitar on Never Getting Back Together has been stereoized, so the left and right sides have a slight delay, and it makes it sound really full. Another thing that's going on is part of the melody in the guitar has been reversed, making it sound less like a guitar. I think Max did all of these things to help move the sound away from country and make it sound more pop. Those are a couple of the sounds Max worked with on the song. So let's go back and now look at what he's done with the structure. We're at the end of the first verse, and here comes the pre-chorus. It's a short part that mainly serves to build up energy between the verse and the chorus. Big sweep to build up the energy, and we're in the chorus. If we just look at the first part of these songs, we can see that Max has put it into a pretty standard pop song structure. Intro, verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. There's a structure that goes on for the whole song, but here we're just looking at everything that happens before the chorus. The verse, pre-chorus, chorus is definitely a way that works to build up energy into the chorus, and Max almost always sticks to it. Compare this to another single again, Red, which doesn't have a pre-chorus. Here we're listening to the first verse. The song drops out a little bit at the end of the verse, and it goes into the chorus. But it doesn't have the same energy that building up in the pre-chorus had in Never Ever Getting Back Together. So Max Martin brought in the pop structure for Taylor's songs, and he also used poppier sounds to move Taylor Swift away from country into her pop superstardom that we know today. So let's look at how these ideas apply to his work with Ariana Grande. The two of them started working on her second album, My Everything, where he produced 4 Billboard Top 10 singles. Their work continued into her third album, Dangerous Woman. So let's look at how Max Martin produces for Ariana Grande by taking a look at the title track.
Don't need no holder, taking control of this kind of moment. I'm locked and loaded, completely focused, my mind is open. All that you got, skin to skin, oh my God, don't you stop, boy. Something about you makes me feel like a dangerous woman. Something about something.
We can already hear some similarities between Max Martin's work with Taylor Swift. It had the same sort of structure, verse into pre-chorus into powerful chorus. We should probably make sure that this powerful chorus thing isn't just a fluke on this one song. So let's run through just a couple of songs that Max Martin also had a hand in on this album. Here's Into You, and we're just gonna jump right into the pre-chorus.
Baby, look what you started. The temperature's rising, and here is this gonna happen. Been waiting and waiting for you to make a move. Before
Chorus is coming, and we have another sweep build up.
so baby, just light me up, and maybe
You can just feel the power here.
a little bit dangerous, but baby, that's how I want it.
Before we get any further, we should probably talk about what this sweep thing is anyway. It refers to the way that a filter will start off only letting through the low frequencies, usually with white noise, and then open up letting through more and more. As the high frequencies come through, it builds up energy until we get into whatever we're trying to get to. So anyway, back to Max Martin and his choruses with Ariana Grande. Let's check out one more song, Every Day.
He giving me that good shit,
And again, we've jumped right into the pre-chorus.
good shit. He giving me
Pre-chorus builds into chorus, although this time drums build the energy.
good shit. He gave it to me. He gave it to me. He gave it to me.
Let's compare this to some tracks on the album not produced by Max. Here's Be Alright. We can already hear that this song is more rhythmic than the Max Martin songs we've heard.
Midnight shadows, we're finding love is a battle, but daylight is so close, so don't you
We finished the first verse and now we go directly into the chorus.
be alright?
It's definitely groovy, but it doesn't have the energy and impact we've seen in other Max Martin choruses. We see some of these same ideas again if we go over to another track on the album not produced by Max Martin, Let Me Love You.
Where my ex, you know what I'm feeling as I lay it on your chest.
We jumped into the middle of the first verse, and we're gonna go into the pre-chorus.
But goddamn, you the best, the best, best. And if it feels right, promise I don't mind. And if it feels right, promise I'll stay.
Next, the song goes into the chorus,
Just let me love you.
and again, like the last one, it's rhythmic and it has a nice groove. It doesn't have the same powerful emotions that Max Martin puts into his choruses. So Ariana works with Max to build pop anthems where all of the energy is put into the chorus. And she works with other producers to explore other areas. Max Martin's figured out a way to make pop music that works. Whether you think it's unoriginal or too structured, or you love the way that it works for pop anthems, there's definitely things to take away from the songs that we've looked at here. You can put all of the energy into the chorus. So building up in the pre-chorus with a sweep or something like that, and then punching through in the chorus, making it powerful. Or you can work with the pop song structure. And it might seem unoriginal and it definitely won't work all the time, but something about it just appeals to us about music. The intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. It just works. So try to see what energy you can put into your chorus. Try to see how you can work with a pop song structure. Try to make something that sounds good. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you like or what you don't like about pop music. And also just what you thought of the episode. And if there's anyone else you want covered in the future.